Communication is not only an important tool in our day-to-day interaction with friends and family, but also in our marriage too. It is the only way we share our opinions, feelings, and even our emotions. Stay tuned as Dr. Njeriga Shohi takes us through effective communication in marriage in today's episode.
We are going to learn now, how do we communicate effectively? We say the 5 levels, but now how do we go to those levels? We must learn how to communicate. But again, also it's important to realize when we don't communicate well. So we start with the poor communicators. I will not call them bad. We just are a bit poor in our communication, which we can improve, or maybe below average. That would be better. I think when you tell a student you are poor, it's bad. But you can say below average. So a below average communication. Now we have 8 types of poor communicators or below average communicators. One of them is the one we call the loudspeaker. You know the loudspeaker? The people who just shout. If you have to say anything, you come, you enter, and you're shouting. Na hii kitu inafanya nini hapa? Na hii ng'ombe, you know, in fact, instead of just asking, na ng'ombe imekula, just to go and check. You start with a question, but you hear first the voice instead of the person, the loudspeaker. When it comes to talking, it's either one is shouting and the other one is trying to calm the other person down. The problem is when both of you are loudspeakers. So even the neighbors know when you are quarreling, even about salt. And soundproof. Others, sometimes in a nyamaza, you find somebody just talking another and all that and every other. So the loudspeaker, or we call the yeller. Anytime you are communicating and you realize somebody has started yelling, now that is the time to say, I think we are not communicating. Can we see whether we can? Don't say you, because if you say, I think you, now again, it's bad. Just say, I think we are not communicating. Can we first calm down and talk another time? Okay. Then we have the monologue, or monologue, from the word monologue. Ni yule anataka kuongea ni kila wakati, katika maongeo ni hotuba. Unaona kama vile tunaanzianga habari za saa moja. Do you have a time to say, excuse?
No.
The news continue, and they continue. And we have people who sometimes, if they are communicating, it is me coming with the information. You only respond when you. So we said the first, I may not be able to write all of them, but the yeller, or we call the loudspeaker. The second one we called the monologue. So the person goes on and on and on, and every time you want to interject, they say, let me first finish. I'm not through. I don't know when. And after they have talked, you don't seem to have anything to say. So what happens? Is that communication? No. But it happens. That's third below average communicator are the interrupters. And I want to add this. It is not simply just that interrupting is bad. There's this time when you may remember a point and you say somebody, can you allow me just to say something before I forget? If that person, if you're communicating, they may allow you. Instead, because that's the only way to get the monologue to first pause. But we may have a chronic interrupter. Every other time, you are starting speaking, what do? They also start. Halafu, what do they do when you are talking?
They cut you short, even in the middle of a sentence, not excusing themselves, and then seems to continue on and on and on. So your point that you are saying has been lost.
Yes.
A good interruption is actually to ask either clarity, somebody to clarify whatever you are saying,
Yes.
or for them to know whether you have understood. Like, for example, were you saying, is this what you are saying? When you do that, that kind of an interruption is positive.
Correct.
Like, but if at all you are talking and then I say, like last time, you know, there is this thing that happened, and then I tell a story for 5 minutes.
That is interruption.
And that is interruption.
Yes. But an interruption can be good if you are saying, let me see whether I've gotten you clear or up to this point. Because we may have the monologue who at the end of it, have you understood? It's like you did. Understand. So, but the chronic interrupter who always finishes for you the sentence. Najua vile ulikuwa unataka kusema. Nimekumbuka. Yes. Yeah. That is not communication. Yes. Then we have the fourth one. So the third one is the interrupter. The fourth one is the competitor. The competitor from the word means you are not now communicating, you are doing what? Competing. So in these cases, you say your point, another one anataka kupeana karibu parallel like that, okay? You left me last time, or you said this. Hata wewe last time. Now you see, you said your point. Now instead of looking at the point where we need to communicate about, okay? Yeah, there is this thing you said and I didn't sikufurahia. So badala ya kusema pole au nini nilisema nieleze nijue so that next time you don't. Now it is lakini hata wewe siku ile ingine, and then you say lakini wewe, and then it goes competition until now who is the worst sinner. Because that now is no longer communicating. You are just competing. And so you will have a lot of faults. So at the end of it, sema sorry. Hata wewe sema sorry. Have you seen that argument where you say hata wewe sema sorry? Kwanza. Then that's where you get the one sorry bus. Now that is no longer sorry. So instead of going all that way, then we must make sure that we at least know how to communicate. Now the other one is, we call them the assassin. The assassin from assassinator, and what wakuwa. They wanaua conversation or the direction of the conversation. Yes, George.
Niliona mwingine mahali mnaongea and it was there was a conflict resolution and mmoja ili yaue yale ile communication instead of kuongea a way out ama kutafuta njia mwafaka anasema hiyo makosa yote ni yangu. Yote ni yangu na nimemaliza na munisamehe.
That is now one taking that we can call them the victim. Yeah. And it's also again also
is it a way of assassinating
the other person,
the communication.
The communication.
Yes.
But we mean the assassin means comes to kill you. What I mean is like the hit below the belt. Let's say like you are talking, he says, "Ona vile unaongea kama mama yako." You see what has happened? They have hit you somewhere. So what happens if you are talking a point, badala ya kuongea yale uliongea, unaanza sasa unaingiza mama yangu namna gani? And there is a way our mothers are attached. For men, kuna kitu inaamukaga. Hata hiyo you can slap. You know why you bring my mother here? The issue is this: you assassinate somebody when you hit below. Now you go to the person, the personality. It's not the issue now. I attack you. That's we call the assassin. And you sasa unaongea namna gani ona? And then they can say sasa si nyamaze. The issue is this now. Instead of looking at the point now, I've started now trying to discredit how you look, and even I don't know. Give me an example. Somewhere.
Watu wengine wanaongea, sasa tuseme wanaongea. Alafu mtu anasema je, ulioga mdomo kweli?
Good. Very nice one. Now that is now what you call an assassin. Unaona mtu anaanza kufanya and you are talking. Now that is an assassin. And what happens is, in case you are talking, even though there's something important, it sinks in you. It's like you were just deflated. So, and sometimes those, what do you call it, statements sometimes cut deep. Because later you will remember what you were told. And even in a conversation, it doesn't end, it has a taste later. Because that person was simply just attacked you, not there. So that's what we call an assassin. And it's very bad. And unfortunately, let me say, women, we are we say bad, not good, because it's not a good thing. Women are bad at this. Assassination. Wewe ndiye unajua kuongea. Endelea kuongea. Wewe ndiye unajua kuongea. Mimi sijui. Sasa now that part also inaku affect. Even before inasema, that's what we are saying. I was saying. Unasemaje? Hata unaweza na hotuba. Okay. So hiyo ni kuongea. That's an assassin. Okay? The sixth one is the one we say the victim. Now we have this one who attacks, but then we have this other one who is now plays the victim. The victim in a conversation. Let's say you are talking man and wife, and then there is this one who always feels like, I'm the only one who has the mistake. Haya, mimi nimeona mimi ndio nilikuwa na makosa. Sawa, pole. The way you are saying. So, because the conversation is going, instead of looking at an issue, they would just say, haya, mimi ndio mbaya. Sawa.
Lakini hapo pengine inakuwa na kuongeza kitu. Mimi ndiye mbaya, wewe ndiye mzuri. Wacha iishie hapo.
Iishie hapo.
Na wengine hata hawaongezi, lakini anasema hiyo makosa yote ni yangu. Poleni. Pole ama pole. But now that is not from the heart. Anataka ili msiendelee na conversation iishie hapo.
Iishie hapo. Okay. 7. We have the NBM. Who is the NBM? Have you ever gone to the hospital and found a patient who has come from the theater and they have written something like this? NBM.
Kneel by mouth.
Correct. Now, this is the kneel by mouth, communicator. What happened? They give one another silent treatment. How is younger? Okay, there is the monologue, yes, but you find somebody, you are talking to somebody and cannot even answer. Does not, how are you? Mzuri. Uko sawa? Chakula iko tayari? Watoto walikula? Everything is
Lakini mwalimu, I'm thinking kneel by mouth. Me naona sometimes is usually good because it brings peace.
Peace? What type of peace?
Because kama utaki maneno.
For that time, if it is that somebody is yelling and you don't want to, or you feel like if I talked, I'm going to make things worse. Silence is important. But you cannot use it as a weapon. That every other time you are angry, but somebody is asking you, kuna shida?
Even that one, it's not nil. Lakini kuna hii ya kwamba hatuongeleshani. And then people probably, if at all they have children, they talk through their children. Enda ambia baba yako. Enda ambia mama yako. Na maybe the baba who is supposed to be told is just sit next. Ambia baba yako hivi na hivi. Ambia mama yako. Ama pengine kuandika kanota have left. Lakini hakuna kuongea.
Hata wakati umepata patient ameandikiwa na kneel by mouth, it is temporary. Ni wakati huo kwa sababu hawezi kuwa na weka chakula ndani. But the communication should not just be one person is talking or they are not talking at all. Because that's why we'll be looking at how to effectively communicate. There we have the statue. So what does that mean to be a statue communicator? You know what? To help me.
I think a statue communicator is when someone is asking you, nguo yangu iko wapi? You're not responding.
No, statue means even when you want to be affectionate to somebody, unaguza, ni kama umeguza bao. Unaguza hata mtu arespond anasema acha kunisubua. And sometimes you just want to show your affection. Statue has to do with emotions. Okay? The responding, whichever way you show that, because if I am coming and hata nikistua statue hapa, hakuna vile itafanya. The same way, there is a way we can communicate and as we can show. And when you are true, when you are statue communicator, there is no way you can go to the 4th level, emotions. Because you must be able to respond to the other person. Feel them. As they say their feelings, then you can. So the statue kills, because next time you won't tell them what you felt, because even from their face and how they feel, they don't feel like they understood you and what you went through. So you stop at the 3rd level, just giving your opinion, ideas, facts, information, but you don't go to the emotional level, because the statue never shows any response. I pray that we become not above average. Now we have learned the poor or the below average communicators. Now we look at next time how to communicate now at above average to the very good, excellent level. See you next time.
Proverbs 15 verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. In today's discussion during the break,
that was quite some class, you know, and very interesting that there's that kind of people called poor communicators, or I don't know, communicators who can do better. And I was just reflecting as Mwalimu continued, there have been some of those at different points in my marriage. And I was just thinking that it does actually occur oftentimes when we have a conflict. So ile tunazozana, ndio hii poor communication inaanza. So ile tumependana, tumefurahiana, hata hatukumbuki kuna shida ya kucommunicate. Lakini kuna wakati I recall even during my own marriage, tukiwa na shida, the man in me, nashindwa kuwa na maneno mingi kama bibi yangu. So nikaingia ile tunaita nil by mouth sasa. Sema sasa wewe ongea, ukimaliza utanyamaza. And unfortunately, vile niliona haikutusaidia. So with time I had to adjust and even give a reaction. Hata kama ni kumwambia nimekusikia, nimekuelewa, you know? So sijui kama kuna mtu mwingine ambao umepitia any of the other poor communication styles. How did it work out? Uko pale ama pengine ulishatoka pale?
Hii kwanza mimi kushout. Pata tu nimefanyia kitu kidogo, shout mara moja tu mpaka bibi ananiambia, kwa unaambia neighbor. Sana nituliza na hiyo.
Na address generation.
Yeah. So imekuwa sana problem.
Na sasa umefanya mambo gani?
Sasa kitu nimefanya sasa hivi nimesoma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sasa
I think kulingana na mimi, I was a monologuer. Speaking from one side. I don't want
hotuba.
Hotuba staki for I would wake up even at midnight. Nikumbuke nilikuwa napiga kelele nimuamshe. So that I can continue. And yes, and I think there was a misunderstanding that the other person is a competitor. When the other spouse tries to raise, anajaribu kusema yake, mimi naona kama ni competition. Kwa hivyo nakasirika sana, naona, why are you interrupting what I am saying? Can you hold on? Kenyamaza kwanza, tulia sikiza. So it is a challenge actually, because you can be a monologuer, but in real sense you think that the other person is becoming competitive. Yeah.
Me too, I was in that around speaker. Angesema kitu kidogo tu. Na hii iko kwa familia mingi. Wewe unakuja tu kwa uzuri. Lakini mwenzako anafoka. Ananena maneno ambayo yanavutia mpaka unaweza kupata mlikuwa kwa barabara mnaongea tu vizuri. Umeinua sauti mpaka unavutia watu wengine ambao hawakuwa involved kwa hii discussion yenye mlikuwa mnadiscuss. Unapata ya kwamba inafika mahali na hizi poor communication huwa zinaambatana. Unapata hii ndio ilete ile. Hii ndio unapata mtu mwenye ana shout anaenda mpaka anafanya hii ya lazima ana shout, unalete mpaka kwa huyu mwenye anaamua sasa wacha ninyamaze nione utaongea mpaka wapi. Yes, kwa sababu wewe kazi yako ni kushout na mimi wacha ninyamaze nione utafika utamaliza lini. Na yeye huyu wa hotuba na yeye mwenzake anaamua na mimi wacha ninyamaze nione hiyo hotuba yako itafika wapi. Unapata ya kwamba hamjengi hamwendi mahali kwa sababu miscommunication.
Na nafikiri there is something ambayo Moses hapa alisema. Akasema ya kwamba iko poor communication, most of them zinakuja wakati kuna conflict. Kuna mzozano katika jamii. Na wakati kuna mzozano katika jamii, hiyo inaonyesha ya kwamba your emotional distance is very wide. Sijui kama unaona kama hiyo ya shouting, unashauti na yule mtu ambaye unashautia
ako hapa.
Hiyo ni kuonyesha emotional distance. Wakati mwingine especially wakati mko na sawa na you very very close na mnapendana, you find yourself whispering and the other person is hearing, even when they are whatever. You can even be seated, say for example in church together. Hata wakati huu wa COVID, mtu ako pale na mwingine ako hapa, lakini in the midst of the worship the other person whispers, I love you. Na yule mwingine anasikia. Unasikia? Hata wengine hawajasikia lakini yeye amesikia because your emotional distance is very close. That tells us that at the time kwa nini wewe huwa unajikuta ya kwamba unaongea kwa whispers and yet sio ati kwa sababu mtu ako karibu, ni kwa sababu your emotional distance is very narrow.
And that's very true kwa sababu wakati huo ni wakati tulikuwa na conflict na my husband, but wakati tulikuja tukisomana tukaketi chini tukaulizana how can we solve this. Tuache hii mambo ya kuwa ati kila wakati tuna conflict tunapigiana kelele, I'm shouting ninakushautia na wewe ukianza hotuba ni mpaka asubuhi, tuifanyie nini?
I think it is also very important na ni muhimu kusema hii, they are what we call backgrounds. Like take an example, I have talked to so many people and I have seen so many people that were barmaids. Na unapata ya kwamba kwa bar, kwa the barmaids, the only defense mechanism they use is shouting. So that they can keep away these men. Wasije wakawakaribia na kufanya nini. Sasa huyo dada ameokoka na ameolewa. Unajua sasa kile anajua, the only defense mechanism kwa damu yake ni kwamba mwanaume ukiona kama kuna kitu hakaendi sawa, anataka kushautiwa to keep them off. So it is good to understand where does huyu mtu wangu ametoka wapi, that background ametoka kwa setup inakaa namna gani, kwa sababu hiyo itatusaidia pia because kumuelewa vizuri ili tuweze kusaidiana, because we said that we want to make things right. Na unapata
sorry, I thought one of the backgrounds also pia sio tu ile kazi ambao walikuwa wakifanya kabla muane, lakini pia ile jamii alitoka. Ikiwa communication kwa hiyo jamii ilikuwa kushout at one another. Like mimi nilikuwa ninajikuta kwa hiyo sana. Kwa sababu mimi nikikuwa ilikuwa tu hiyo shouting it was so common ya kwamba wewe kuja wewe, you know, that kind of shouting. Kwa hivyo kitu kingine ni ya kwamba hata hiyo background ya kwamba kwenu mzee alikuwa anakohoa, kila mtu anafanya, you know, it creates fear. So wewe ukiwa mwanaume na unataka ya kwamba ile nini jamii unajenga, hata unakohoa kila mtu anaskata. So I agree with you, but it also depends not only with the work that we are doing or you are doing before we got married,
background.
lakini pia background ya malezi. Thank you. That is
and that's what I am saying, that we need to understand. Mimi nijielewe, nimekuwa katika jamii ya aina gani, nimekuwa katika kazi ya aina gani, nimekuwa na interactions za aina gani, so that I can now narrow down. As I said earlier, ya kwamba unaona sasa mimi ni monologa lakini sijui. I think mwenzangu akijaribu ku raise point naona ni competition. Kwa hivyo najaribu kumkomesha niendelee kuongea. But once I look at this crossray, wakati nilijijua nikajua kumbe si lazima niseme, kumbe si lazima itoke kwangu, si lazima niwe mimi ndiye, si lazima niwe ni mimi. So you start working on it from that ground, from the genesis, so that you can come now to effective communication.
So what I'm saying is there's a few things we have all admitted, tumekubali, tumepitia yale. We've all been poor communicators at some point, but there's a turning point.
Yes.
Ambayo ni kujielewa na pia kujiuliza, kwa sababu mimi sasa nimeamua kuwa monologa ama yela, inanisaidia aje? Inasaidia ndoa yetu aje? Kama haitufaidi, nafaa nibadilike aje? Na pia kuna ile nafasi ya kumwelewa mwenzako. Pengine hajielewi.
Yes.
Yeye ni monologa, yeye ni yela, lakini hajielewi. Even ndivyo background yake iko, malezi yake, si ndio? Kwa hivyo nimefurahia hilo somo, na sijui kwa kuna mchango mwingine.
Kitu ambacho nafikiria ni kwamba katika yote ambayo tumeongea ni kwamba lazima ujijue ndio umjue mwenzako. Ukijijua utajua mwenzako. Na wakati mwenzako ambapo utamjua itakusaidia katika nini? Mimi naweza sema katika hiyo nili by mouth. I was very good at it.
I was once called a tortoise. Sababu my wife na wakati amekasirika awe yela. Na mimi narudisha kichwa wapi? Ndani.
To get the notes of today's lesson, visit www.mbcimedia.com/TMC. Catch the repeat of the marriage classroom every Tuesday at 10 p.m.